GM. Sorry, I was just unmuting all the mics all over the place. Tony, how are you doing
G
today?
Mike.
Oh,
Testing 1, 2, 3. Mic check.
a little throwback. Mic check. What's up? Mike is always presiding over us, as he does. As he does. But
Absolutely. And 1 second, I'm just gonna go ahead and pin this up to the top. We are now currently streaming live on YouTube. I just pinned up the link if you'd like to check us out. If not, you can just listen. And I think we're also streaming live on X, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, we are.
Oh,
We are borderline syndicated. Our
we are
distribution network is worldwide.
we are trimulcasting,
Yes.
and we are trying really hard.
Yes, that too. We're definitely trying so hard. Yeah, they're gonna have to come up with it. We'll be multicasting soon. Maybe we'll be on some on-chain distribution channels. You never know.
We are definitely going to go more decentralized. I think we'll have to be on Farcaster and Lenster soon.
You can't censor us. We're gonna have a progressive web app soon. Share to your home. Sorry, this is getting way too deep. This is so
TGI DAO coming soon.
Yeah. Money sign TGID.
$ TGID
coming at you.
Airdrop.
Just lay down the rug radio roadmap.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
We're farming.
It's going to be awesome. Dude, what an exciting time, to be a doodle.
Absolutely. I guess at least in my camp, the Chef Tony's GF incubator proposal passed the veto period. So there's going to be a little less gluten in your diets if you're listening. That was pretty dope. I got 8270 sent me the W9 and other jazz like that. So I submitted that, and hopefully I should get dispersed sometime this week. That'll be nice. So I can start ordering stuff. I'm still working with Sushi to finish up the final designs, and then I have to submit it to them for artistic approval. Needless to say, it's a banger. It is fully immersive. It's looking dope.
Needless to say. No, wait. Is this art design for the packaging or for the booth?
Yeah, so it's art design for the packaging, but so Brooks, he's my buddy. He's like a UI UX 3D designer. So he does he works on ad campaigns with different, big companies. Nice. So he's going to help design the booth, the way that Instagram posts and Twitter posts will look, the typeface, colors, imaging, just the facade of the feed and all that stuff. So we'll probably use the illustrations from the packaging and also, repurpose and make some original stuff too. Nice. I'm still obviously getting the design for the packaging approved is the premier thing, because I'm trying to build out the lore of Chef Tony as the
chef.
Food oracle, the Chef Boyardee, the Tony the Tiger. We're trying to put the character at the center of it.
Does Chef Tony have a slogan yet? It's great. It's something, you know what I mean? What is it?
I haven't trademarked it, but whatever. I'm gonna say this in good faith that nobody tries to steal it. I'm thinking of maybe trademarking "Let Us Cook."
Nice.
Nice. The one that or "Let Them Cook." I don't know if it works, but I think it's just more of an inside joke. Yeah. But if I had the rights to it, I think it would be kind of cool.
Hey, that's awesome. That's great. No, dude. Yeah, a formal congratulations on getting that passed. I think that's so cool. I think that one, obviously, I think that your proposal has merit in multiple ways, which I think is great. But even just as a matter of fact, I think congratulations are owed just for anyone who's in the arena, if you will. You know what I mean? Anybody who has the gall to make a proposal and has a dream and wants to see that through, I think that's huge. And to be empowered to do that, it's awesome. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, and shout out to you for all your help and stuff. I think if it's something that comes out of my mouth, you got to know that Dude Lifts has got his wits about it. So it is very invaluable to have a soundboard and all of those sorts of assets along the way.
Let us cook.
Straight up. You see what I mean? Like, it's too good. I think, I don't know how the little commercial will go, and I don't think I need a commercial to start, but I do like making jingles, so, um, I
Hey,
don't know who
we
will
love a good
voice act the
jingle.
jingles.
We love a good animation. We love a good illustration. Like,
Yeah, it'll be a
it's
lot of
Doodles.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess, like, if we're just gonna talk about incubator stuff, like, one other proposal that I helped work on was Aton's Halloween
Oh, yeah,
haunted
yeah, yeah.
house proposal in New York City. That, like, came out, I feel like 24 hours before Doodles was like, "Hey, we're gonna be in New York for Burnt Toast's, opening event," where, like, it seems like they're doing, like a token proof, like, holder exclusive
Yeah.
plus ones thing. So, I think about it, I'm like, "Damn, like, could he, like, move it to the day after of that?" Like, move it, like, 2 weeks early so that while all those people are already in town to do the
Oh,
grand opening.
oh, it's not on the same night as the Holder preview. Sorry, I missed that. Or not
Yeah, no.
near it. Oh,
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks away from it. Ultimately, like, I think a lot of people are in the New York Northeast area,
true,
but I would
true.
assume it's gonna be more of a hotbed, like, for the grand opening of the Ross Kramer exhibit, Drunk Tank Pink. Um,
So
but
who's going to step up and be our champion and make an event? Burry?
oh, for that thing,
Yeah.
Burry's like, I'm hopping on the first plane."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, what's the date for the opening event?
Mm,
Oh, is it like the
it's
12th?
really soon.
It's like the 12th? Is it like days away?
Yeah, it's days. It's
Okay.
days. Let me check Discord.
Well, I think, yeah, I'm looking at Aton's proposal right now, and it's for the 26th. So I don't know
It's
if we.
about, like, 2 weeks after, I wanna say.
Okay. Okay.
But that wasn't, like, I don't think that was intentionally done because at the time it was just like Mushy was like, "Alright, someone should do a proposal
Yeah.
around when this thing is going on."
Yeah.
It looks like it is on the 11th, so in 2 days. So
Okay.
I would assume that that's probably way too quick to turn and burn the haunted house
Now
thing.
I know they still were like going to go over there because I think the art show is open for some amount of time, right? Like it's not just, I think it's, what is it, a month or something more or something like that.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's about a month. So, it just in general, I guess, like, obviously, there's gonna be that pop-up in 2 days. I mean, I don't know, I guess someone could make a proposal to do, like, a open bar somewhere or, like, a dinner.
Yeah. No, I mean, you could turn and burn
I mean,
something like that.
you could do that quick, like, just get a res, get a
Get a
head
resi.
count.
Yeah. One of my
Not
favorite li-
financial advice.
one of my favorite lines from Aton's proposal, by the way, was, I'm trying to see if I can find it. It has to do with the budget. Oh, it says, note, this is in all caps. The budget can be accommodated to meet the 5K cap, although 2.5K is peanuts for the upside here. That is my favorite line of the whole
Oh,
proposal.
yeah, because that was what I told him. I was like, "There is, like, a hard cap on the events," and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this." I was like, "Alright, you at least have to put some kind of an addendum, so, like, they don't just completely just say, like, on a
I can
technicality."
just imagine. I can just hear Aton be like, "Peanuts over here."
Yeah.
It's
So
awesome.
I think that it would be cool in terms of, like, a holiday-themed community event. I like that idea, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah.
I envision it could be something that also does, like, St. Patrick's Day, all sorts of other things.
Yeah. Certainly could be. Um, let me think here. So, um, hmm. Yeah, we could do a holiday theme thing. I mean, there could be tons of other stuff. I mean, I like the idea of just kind of being able to go out and have a good time. I think we're seeing this theme. We've said it. We'll say it again over and over again. That I think we're seeing these adjunct community events that go alongside quote unquote official events. This one's interesting too. Almost, I wouldn't even say it's more similar to camp, but it's like burnt toasts kind of own thing, and so that has something else to it as well. Tony, it looks like your camera went out, but I think you know that already. Ah,
I'm back.
he's back. He's back. So yeah, I think it's just interesting. It seems like the incubator is able to just add a little extra doodle powder, some pixie dust to each
Well,
event.
yeah, I mean, that's what we're seeing, with Cupcat and Wen Moon's event
Yep.
in Hong Kong for Ape Fest.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's really cool just because Yuga Labs is huge, right? In just terms of like NFT projects, like
Right.
in terms of how many NFTs there are. I don't know how many. I haven't checked like a Dune Analytics dashboard in a minute on like the Yuga ecosystem, but I'm sure there's more than 10,000 people that hold at least another deed, a coda, a
Millions and
mutant,
millions.
a bored ape, a dog, a ape coin. You know what I mean? Like there's all sorts of
Vessel, Gucci pendant, Coda, Moda, Oda. I mean, start saying
yeah.
shit.
The list goes on. So um, I think that it's cool that they can activate in the area of just like cross pollination. Like a lot of people that have Yuga assets have Doodles too. Um, Doodles as well, not Doodles too. Let me strike that on the record.
Yes.
Um, OG Doodles as well.
In addition
In
to.
addition to their monkey pictures.
Ooh, that grammar was a miss on the market research department. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you have Doodles too? Like, yeah, I also do have. I also have an OG. No, like Doodles too. Yeah, I have a Doodles as well as you. We both have no, Doodles too. Yeah, miss.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So I think that one is neat. And then another one that I was like, I helped do a little bit of R&D on was the one that just dropped today, by David,
Yeah, by David.
who runs the charity Enabling the Disabled that helps autistic children in Ghana and their families. So that's like the first social good, like charitable incubator proposal we've ever seen. I'm excited to see what it goes through.
I only get to skim that proposal earlier, but I met David in Chicago when he came to visit camp. I mean, visited from Ghana. I mean, my guy is committed,
Yep.
and a super nice guy. But his proposal, from the little bit I skimmed it, I mean, it seems really cool, super high impact for what he's asking for. I think it was like, I think the ask was 19K, but then there's a huge day event. Lots of content generated from that event. This is all helping people, not that the content's the point. But also there was like 3 months of continuing care in addition to all this other stuff. I thought that was really cool. So it seems super high impact for the cost.
Yeah. I mean, like the TLDR is like they're wanting to bring a bunch of physicians in
Yeah.
to help like just check out all the children in like in this town, that see if they are diagnosed with any like kind of special needs or anything, and then bring in, I think what he said, a lot of the ways that you can help children that have autism, especially like early on, like early intervention, is like speech pathologists and occupational therapists, or like with cerebral palsy, physical therapists, to just kind of help those children develop better, which is cool. But then kind of putting a doodly twist on it, like as opposed to it just being like, oh, you have to go to the shots and get vaccines, and it's like, oh, they're gonna like host an event where they do like arts and crafts, and they'll like paint and draw doodles and do some cool like community merch, um like where people could opt in to get their doodle put onto a shirt, and then once it hits 20 people or whatever, they'll get a community artist to make the shirt, and then they'll print them and give them out to the people that attend.
Cool. I think
So I think it's pretty neat, right? Like Dude List could be on a shirt out in Ghana at an event, just because you wanted to lend your permission to use your IP.
Oh, we love that. We love that. Dude lives in Ghana. You heard it first. Lifting up the spirits. Just, I couldn't help myself. Okay.
And there was an incubator proposal that landed today too. That got a little spicy on the timeline.
Yeah.
To say the least. Lifts, whose post was that on? I'm going to pin it to the top. Was it your post that everybody went down to Chinatown on?
Maybe,
or
I guess.
Let me try to find it.
I think you're right.
Yes, I think it was. So yeah, go ahead. You can spit that fire.
Well, no, I was just about to say, we're talking about the incubator being able to kind of level up or make it special for at different events, right? That Doodles is already going to be at, kind of as a quote unquote holder reward. And we've seen that play out, and it's gone seemingly really well. In Chicago, I would say Doodles wasn't at Korea Blockchain Week, but there was an activation there. So maybe we should, avoid that comparison. But at least at camp, Is there any other ones off the top of your mind? Or is that kind of maybe our first example, actually? Has it just been camp?
Well, there's one coming up at Met in Amsterdam.
But Doodles, the company isn't going to be there, if that makes sense.
Ingy is going to talk there,
Oh, I guess that's fair. That's fair.
and NFT Paris. Ingy spoke there. Ingy and Julian spoke there as well. And
Now,
Doodles did an
now
event.
Doodles did that dinner. Doodles LLC did that dinner, but it did illustrate that a kind of cool side event can level up and add to it. And that's all I'm getting at is John from the community council himself, but as a holder, submitted a proposal for a party around Complex Con, right? And so Complex
I
Con. Oh, go ahead.
I would say like it's more than just a party necessarily, but
Yes.
at least like that part of the proposal includes an event that is in tandem to Complex Con.
That's fair. So it is a custom proposal. So it's not an event proposal. So to be clear, you're right. And there is, yeah, it's not quote unquote just a party. There's a lot of additional aspects to it. And it's interesting the way that John has thought about it. I was reading the proposal and there's all kinds of ways to generate what he calls like generate FOMO, right? Like there's going to be I won't say contests, but things online where you can almost get an allow list to the party and things like that. I think it's a really interesting perspective. It's a way to make it, to your point, more than just a party, right? And I think actually, in a way, it kind of is like make Doodles cool. Like we're at Complex Con, like there's a potentially this party that like people want to get into, but it's only for OG holders. I think that's cool. Like, and to me, I think about this concept of holder rewards. And I think we've been thinking about it. And this is something that I've spoken with Austin about in the past. Holder rewards, people, I won't say people, some people have been thinking about it in this way where it's okay, let's give out 10,000 slinkies to holders or something like that, right? And maybe there's a world where the incubator and different things in the incubator, whether that's products created out of the incubator, events created out of the incubator, companies created out of the incubator, those serve as vehicles to reward the holders, right? And so maybe it's something like what we've always been saying is we can leverage the superpowers of our community members to reward the holders, right? And that's essentially what John is doing. Like we know John has these, longtime industry connections. Not that I can't speak for John's particular experience with party planning, but he's been around, and so I would say that, and I know, Tony, did you go to one of John's parties that he has before, or am I making that up?
I didn't go to the one in LA, but he did host like the Doodles LA mixer. That was part of the Doodles Community Fund that was brought about by Chris from FAM.
Yes, the DCF, exactly, and that's all I'm getting at is like, if a community member has a strength and they're willing to leverage that to reward the holders, I feel like that's a win, you know? Um,
Oh no, like let's just say basically, right? Like John is a native to LA.
sure.
Doodles, the company, is going to have some kind of capacity pop-up booth. I don't know what the heck the thing is going to be at Complex Con, but it sounds like they're like booths at like CES or any kind of trade show.
Sure.
And being able to pop up in a pretty meaningful way, right? Where you're already going to have people going because Doodles brand is there.
Right.
And you're also getting to the end of the fiscal quarter of the incubator where there has yet to be like a reward that's gotten out. And then if there's a way to be able to tap into that and being able to, literally give away to OG Doodles amongst other things, like where
Amongst
it's like,
flying people in for the event as well. That was on there.
Yeah. And like, kind of getting dripped up like, yo, here's a bunch of swag, like let's rock this out and kind of, be able to just have fun. I think it's really ultimately at the end of the day, part of it is, hey, let's reward people. Like you said, give people a really cool event. I mean, John knows LA. He's been there for a really long time. Like you said, he's a really successful serial entrepreneur. And, this guy that he seems like he's wanting to do it with too, like don't fuck around. I'm sure that they know how to throw a baller ass party. And in addition, trying to create this way like that you introduce other people who might be conducive to wanting to join the Doodles community from, I would assume, pretty cool networks. Because when you look at it, like, what do we really need for the incubator right now? We need different types of talent, right? Like, what if we had more developers? What if we had more, people that worked in the CPG industry? What if we had more people that worked in the fitness industry, or as athletes or cycling? Then we'd start seeing other businesses be able to crop up, or more unique teams come through. So I think they've talked about wanting to create a mentor network, and I think introducing people vis-a-vis a party is a pretty cool way to do it.
Well, and I think too, Artifact is going to have a large presence at I wouldn't say large, but the only other Web3 presence, as far as I'm aware, besides Doodles at ComplexCon. And the Artifact community, incredibly creative, talented with 3D art, like just on the whole, like a lot of really good talent over there. And so that would be really cool. And I think and this is something I was thinking about today as a result of all this, not that we're going to as much as Poopy would love for us to vampire attack the Artifact community, maybe there's a soft vampire attack. I think the Artifact community and the Doodles community is actually more aligned than people give them credit for, right? And so I think if we had the opportunity to get together, we might kind of be like, oh, hey, you guys are just like us.
Absolutely. I think that, if you want to look at their collection is a little bigger than ours.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think they're 20K, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have a few other things. Like
or is Clone X 20K? Oh, yeah. Well, that's on like the Artifact, I don't know, what do you call it? Ecosystem. It's complex.
Yep. And, but they have delivered products. I think they've been really good at hosting community events, and that would be a great way to cross-pollinate, even just that. But just, to that point, a lot of people that are in the Web3 space are also based in California and in LA that would come through, or, just, and the other part is, like we were talking about, those like the hype beast people that will be in attendance at ComplexCon. It would be pretty cool to convert some of those people that are diehard collectors of physical goods and introduce them into be like, yo, what's up? This is the Doodles vibe.
Dude, imagine like, Doodles crypto kicks. Come on. I'm trying to get my hands on some crypto kicks, but no, I
don't even know how to buy them.
I don't either.
It's complicated.
They're misunderstood, just like us. That's why we would commiserate together, honestly. They'd show up to the party and they'd be like, Flow blockchain, and we're like, crypto kicks. We're like, hey, dap them up, and they're like, hey, we get you. We get each other.
Yeah. But I guess, like, that proposal came out, and some people from the community weren't super in love with it.
Sure.
I guess Roops wasn't that in love with it. He made his point pretty firm that he was like thinking that it might be a bit, I don't know, I guess a bit much money, and just like seeing another thing in North America. But we also saw other people come through there, like the chair and Austin, on the Doodles team was like, hey, look, like there's been a lot of events overseas, and that's definitely been like, let's not, like try to throw shade at like Cat. Cat's coming up with events that people submit, right? You have to submit events. And I think that they've done a lot of stuff about being able to show up in Asia, and they're going to be showing up in Amsterdam soon. So that's cool. Obviously, I think if people overseas and stuff try to host more events, I'm sure that they'll be able to host them if they can substantiate attendance.
Well, and I think, I don't know, like just to give the opposing side its fair shake, you know what I mean? For what it's worth too, if anybody has any opinions on this, once again, Ink Tank is a community space. So please feel free to request, come up to the stage. We love to hear, more opinions than just Tony and I yammering on about it. But yeah, to give the fair side, the other side its shake, I can understand where that's coming from based like where that criticism is coming from. But what I will say is this is probably just a lesson in Web3, just in general, as we always seem to be, getting lessons. We're learning. One of the things that's always been interesting to me about my experience in Web3 is kind of getting to look behind the curtain as far as just, I know this sounds really simple, but what things cost. I remember when Golden Wolf came on, or when people were getting animations done, people were like, they're like, well, why can't you just like whip up an animation, bro? And then people are like, well, that would be $10 million. Like, and just like learning what shit costs. And so,
sure.
And so, I saw some other criticism. They're like, well, I could throw a party for $500 in my backyard. Like, not to make a straw man out of it, because I didn't actually say that argument. Sorry to anybody who made it. But I mean, but a lot of people who I trust their opinion, kind of were saying like, no, I've been in the industry, I've been to similar events, and like this is pretty reasonable for what's being described. And so I think that's where one of those things where I think is just learning about like, oh, here's what things cost in the real world. Like when you actually start to execute on things, when the costs start to add up, when it's, this is what it costs. And so that, I think that's been a lesson for a lot of people, myself included. I'm no expert. I'm learning along the way too. But I try to be open-minded for the most part.
Well, let's think. So we had camp this year.
Mm-hmm.
The previous year we had South by Southwest, NFT NYC, and Doodle Putt.
Right.
Those events were like for holders and then for the public, brand activation, impressions, millions of dollars spent.
Right.
Right. Don't know if they were bringing in revenue besides royalties when they existed on secondary sales. Maybe merch, but I assume the margins on merch aren't that crazy. I think that was definitely an outward bleed. Then you go to this year, you have camp, which was most of the spend was on setting that thing up to be a money printer, a revenue generating source, right? And then what do they do like specifically for holders? They opened it up for us and they did the dinner after, right?
Mm.
So compare that spend on like holders from Doodles LLC from any of those events, New York, Austin, or Miami. I don't think that they compare at all, right? I mean, how much could it cost to have an open bar and food for like 120 people versus doing that for 3 days in New York and getting three event venues, you know what I mean, for 3 days and getting a giant auditorium or getting a warehouse for 3 days and completely customizing it or grabbing a warehouse for 3 days and hosting golf, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
mini golf course. The incubator really came in to make it fun,
Yep.
like if there was just like, okay, people came in like, all right, 2 hours, I don't know if it would have been as special as like, dude, we were like on a gauntlet, right?
Yeah.
There was like,
Yeah.
we didn't do the virtual golf because we were getting ready to do a podcast, but or Twitter Spaces, but we did the next day. It was like brunch on a boat, Cubs game, like it was a lot of fun. It was a
Oh, yeah.
blast, and I think it was unique just being in Chicago where we happened to like line up with the air show, like the golf thing just happened to happen, and the Cubs game were like within 24 hours of each other.
Totally.
Right. And I think that that's kind of what this proposal is trying to do, is create a community ran mini activation.
Sure.
Like that takes stuff that they did at Doodle Putt. They gave out 12 doodles at
Right.
Doodle Putt. Right. So they're going to give out 2. Obviously, thankfully, right now they're not going to bleed the incubator dry to do it.
Sure.
But I think that's really cool. I do think that there was one criticism about, like, well, is this fair for people overseas if they can't go? So John did make an alteration and say that people that aren't present will be able to enter into that. So there is like, some thought going into it.
Yep.
And maybe I do understand like about being geographically inclusive, but at the
Yep.
same time, like I also on the flip side would say, I think just as a community, like we do need to just be able to be happy for other people getting to do cool shit too. You know what I mean? Like I'm out here not being like, yo, fuck Pudgy Penguins because they're in Walmart making a lot of money. I'm
Well,
just like,
well, I
great.
think
Like
even
it's great for them. I'm happy for them.
even more so to that, I think it's conflating Doodles LLC with the incubator as well, right? It's the incubator will only go where people propose it to go, right? And so that's not necessarily anything that can be altered beyond trying to elicit new proposals, maybe adding an RFP, or like, if the incubator really wanted to emphasize that, maybe they could add a bonus, maybe they could up the cap from 5K to 10K if you're outside the US, just to add some incentivization for, non-US based events to happen. Maybe there's a way that they can put some dollars behind that to incentivize that would that would help, you know, or something. That's I'm just off the top of my head, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or like an earned rank. Like, let's say you do a successful event and you execute it well, deemed by the events lead, then you could get $2,000 extra if you wanted. I'm not exactly sure how.
there could be some way to just incentivize those events because, like I said, the proposals still have to come in, right? And so there's not much they can do if they're not coming in. Um, the only other thing that I was thinking about, oh, this is one other thing I was thinking about is content. I'm like, shit, slap another 5K on that proposal because maybe for all proposals, I'm just kidding, I'm getting a little too crazy. But you talked about Doodle Putt, you talked about NFT NYC. One of the things that's been amazing to me, and I don't know if this is because of a non culture or because a lot of NFT Twitter is a bunch of late to mid 20-year-old dudes, but they are abysmal at creating content. And so these companies put on these fantastic events, and the best thing you get is like a blurry photo of some guy, right?
Yeah.
And like that's it. They're like, "Oh, I'm at the entrance, cool." And like, and think about from these
My
events,
phone died like 10 minutes in, but
what
it was sick.
well, and think about some of the viral moments that have come out. I think about the Fuck It Friday party from the Apes, that guy doing the headstand, and that like photo went viral. That was the meme of the week. It was like from that, right? But I'm
Yep.
like, imagine if you could just get a videographer to come out and shoot a party of a Doodles party, right? Make the edit, and then we can all retweet that. We can post that. We can do whatever. Like, because I remember Doodle Putt thinking the same thing, and I don't know what happened, but I mean, I saw people running around Doodle Putt with broadcast quality cameras. I mean, rigs, and I don't know where that content went. Right. And I was looking forward to, I was like, oh, I bet they're going to shoot something and edit some really, really awesome edit that we can all enjoy. And I don't know where that ended up going, you know? And so I'm like, if we could just create some more content, that would be awesome. Like that's just my
No, no,
my
no.
thinking.
I think that, like you're saying, people like user generated content from events is good. You know, like, oh, tag us, you know, take pictures with our signs and stuff. But like, we love videos,
It
like
adds more value to the event is
short
what I'm
videos.
saying,
Yeah,
right?
they're fun.
It adds more value to the event. And I know, and I'm not saying that this is a replacement for this at all of not being able to attend. But there is like on this Twitter timeline, like people develop parasocial relationships with other people, you know, in the community who they never get to meet, the influencers, the things, whatever. And like getting to view a piece of content and feel proud that you're a part of that community, like that has value. It
Sure.
does.
Yeah. Or and it's also just like a great like thing to look back at. You know, like a highlight reel. We love that.
Yes.
Like there's replay value to TV shows. There's replay values to like YouTube series and favorite songs. You know what I mean? Like some people listen to the same song like 30 times in a row because they're like, oh, I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
I
gonna
mean, like you know, good videos do that too.
I'm gonna try to make it a complex con in general. If this party is occurring, then I'm definitely gonna try to make it a complex con. I just think it'd be fun. And any excuse to flex the Crocs, I'm in. I am in.
I've been seeing people wearing like normies wearing Crocs a decent bit in Texas. It's weird swag
Dude,
for
I
sure.
came so close to buying a pair of Lightning McQueen Crocs the other day.
How much were? What was the floor price? Like, what was
It
the
was like
mint
I think
price
they're
on
like
those?
$110, which I was like, that's not what I expected because I hear they like sell out all the time or something. But I ended
Hmm.
up getting my wife a bag instead, so I made the right call.
I heard that you sold a Nitty B key to buy the bag.
I did. I mean, dude, it's like, how can you not? You know what I mean?
Just yeah, dude. Just exit Friend Tech. It's not going to be good.
I yeah, the vibes in the air, like the easterly winds were blowing. I was just feeling, I was like, you know what? I was like, I think I bought this key for, I don't know, $10, $15. It's worth 260. And I was like, it's time. It's time to get out.
Yeah, I got out there. I was just like, I don't want to be like I've seen all these weird sim swap platform hack things, and I was just like, I just want to build a food brand.
Yeah.
I'm a skirt.
No need for me to be in Stars Arena, you know, anything like that. So
Yeah,
we're all good.
it's all good. I mean, it's all fun and games. I think like um I am just starting to get like I'm not so antsy to be like, oh, I just need to make a quick buck, you know. I think that it's when you do that, you get a little bit too PvP. Um, and I think that's not the whole reason why I'm here.
Oh, 100%. No, I honestly just enjoy experimenting with blockchain tech. I'm like, oh, it's a new thing. I'll try it.
Oh, I agree. I think I don't know if like that SocialFi thing is like so ramped as hard as it's been. I obviously think that like the thing that's going to win out is going to be more like Lenster or Farcaster. But the things that those platforms are going to need to figure out before they actually make sense, one, they're going to have to get out of beta where people can just join them. But it's figuring out creator monetization. That's the takes the cake right now. Like X, it's pennies on the dollar that
Right.
people are making. That's why people like Friend Tech. That's why people like Stars Arena, because they can make $1,000 in a week from just actually having fun and not like trying to read NFT gods threads.
Yeah, I guess it gets it something broader as far as social media is concerned, because like people will use Instagram for free, you know what I mean, and expect no return, because I guess either the network effects or the products are good enough. So it's like, how much do you need to incentivize the masses to use social media?
Well, I think it's that there's this whole thing. People like to play games, right? People like to gamble, so they found out a new way to do it.
Mhm.
But is social media the place for that?
No, fair point.
You
Yeah.
could just have a bookie and then you can fuck around on social media, right? You can bet on sports. Like Parallel AI Rev, dude, he hit like a $50,000 bet on the 49ers this week. Did you see that?
No, but good for him.
He sunk like $12,000 to that just for like a cold bet that they were going to win,
That's
and he
awesome.
hit it.
That's
It
awesome.
was crazy.
In talking about this kind of social fi thing, I'm not entirely convinced that Meta is out of the run quite yet. They did Threads,
Threads.
which nobody is really using, but they proposed this thing called the Federated Metaverse, or the Fediverse. Right, the name is the worst because it sounds like the Feds.
Yeah, it does sound like the Feds.
But they're essentially trying to do what well, and I think it's even I don't know if it is yet, but they claim that it's interoperable with Mastodon. So, I mean, they're building decentralized social, building on top of it. Like, is Threads a D app? Like, I don't
Fediverse sounds like it's like Federal Reverse. Like, it's just like, oh, it's like the meme
the
version
Uno
of the
reverse
Federal
card of the
Reserve.
Federal Reserve. They're like,
Yep.
8% interest rates. Uno reverse. Now it's 16. Gotcha.
Yep.
Dude, okay,
Uh,
this is an interesting one as a total side thing, but just something fun I saw on the internet. Um, on NFT Twitter, we're not gonna get too out there. But it was the Lunar Society for Moonbirds, a proposal
yep.
got some traction that someone I don't know exactly how much they were doing, but they essentially I just thought this was really interesting. They were gonna stake ETH and use the yield from staked ETH to collect art. And I was like, damn, all right, that's
They're going to
smart.
stake ETH how?
Probably through Rocket Pool or something, like nothing, incredibly risky, just like staked ETH.
But I meant like, okay, like they wouldn't stake it like with a node.
No, like I don't think they would deploy like 32 ETH to get staked. I think they do it in the Rocket Pool, but I think you still generate like 4% yield on any amount, something like that.
Now, if we're talking about things to yield for the incubator, have we thought about like spinning up a couple nodes and just taking like 100 ETH?
Dude, I think oh gosh, why can't Nope, Nope, NOOHP
Noof. Yeah.
has talked about how much ETH the incubator could have generated if they would have staked their ETH, and
But all of it, right? Like that's yeah,
but
probably what he's thinking about.
it's a sad amount how much we've missed out on by
Well,
not.
I'm just thinking, even though just like what if you took like 64 ETH and you spun up 2 nodes and just took validator fees?
Sure, yeah.
I
You
mean,
know,
what risk do you have?
there's also a proposal on the books to lend out some ETH against some doodles.
I feel like there's what 3,000 ETH in there that we could do a couple of these different things. I guess you just have to trust the people that are doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine Poopy and Evan might know a person or two who could help them stake the ETH in a way. So
I personally, at least now that I understand like how easy it is to do, um, that it makes sense. Not like we're gonna put it into Olympus DAO and we're gonna yield farm,
Yeah.
all this crazy, super dangerous stuff versus
Sure.
it just like just playing the volatility of ETH.
No, I mean, yeah, having some kind of people have proposed all kinds of different methods of treasury management for the incubator, but
I feel like we should talk to John Shank sometime about that. Because I don't know what their internal position is on that stuff.
yeah.
Because like I know this arcade proposal, I think that it would be cool that we could lend out into something that the incubator drops into for sure.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting, and that's why I'm sure there's nuance and complexities. Like if if the incubator generating yield, does that create taxable events? Is that something they're trying to avoid? I don't know. I'm no expert on any of this stuff, but it's easier said than done. But doesn't mean that it's not worth it.
So, because more so, you said that the Lunar Society is staking ETH
They
and
are
is
going to.
bringing
I
it
think
in.
they're going to deploy capital to an individual who proposed it. So I don't know. I don't know the structure of how they're going to do that.
Oh, okay. I want to dive more into that then.
But I
Because
think
I want to see what the implication
I
is.
think it's nominal. Like they're not even asking for much, but what they were saying is that they're going to grow the collection over time and obviously try to probably like stake more ETH over time. But even they're like, okay, if we get 0.1 ETH, then we'll go pick up a piece of artwork for 0.1, like supporting small creators. And I just thought that was really just an interesting thing to
Yeah,
do with your ETH.
yeah. I mean, I've thought of other stuff too. I mean, if we're just kind of going in the ether of possibilities, um, like how the ApeCoin DAO Machi just got that proposal passed, where they're going to buy a bunch of Yuga assets
Yeah.
and
sorry. Yeah, yes. Purchase Yuga assets, of course.
purchase Yuga assets.
Not sweep the floor.
I don't know if they're buying floors. I think they might be procuring them.
I'm just fucking with them. But
yeah, I know. But and then buying stuff from other collections, possibly. I think that they said in there. I read it a little bit. It's not Machi buying these things. It's like a group. It's a group of people.
Right.
To donate them to art museums to just kind of proliferate on-chain artwork in important places. Excuse me one second.
Oh yeah.
But what I was thinking, maybe specifically, let's not be like, okay, like we're gonna just invest in NFTs as the incubator.
Sure.
For just donating them. Like we don't have that kind of bread,
Sure.
The ApeCoin DAO does. And if they want to buy a doodle in there, fantastic. But otherwise, I don't know if that's the way that we need to get Doodles IP into a museum. Like maybe Burnt Toast will run into someone that has a museum and put it in there. Maybe they put his artwork in there instead of the PFPs. But I digress. What if we bought like things that got us access to different treasuries or DAOs?
No, we said that we talked about this last week.
Well,
we were talking about arbitraging all the other treasuries.
Like what if we were able to buy a Moonbird for the Lunar Society, 2 nouns because you want to make proposals. What else is there?
We talked about arbing all of them. Yeah, like
yeah, but like what if we just had that, right? And it was just at inkubator.eth or whatever, and that just allowed, that was a public good that we would delegate to a community member if they wanted to make a proposal in that other ecosystem. So then that would kind of allow us as a community empowered, not Doodles LLC or anything, but as people to be able to tap into those things and cross collaborate. Like nouns is unique in the sense that their art is CC0.
Sure.
So like we don't even need anyone's permission to make stuff with nouns on it, right? Like we could just use it. So like if Alchemy Chains wanted to, I don't know, come out with some product and use nouns artwork on it,
sure,
then he could go make this proposal like, hey, I want to make nouns Noggle rings or whatever. And
what if they're Noggle brass knuckles? They're just called like.
I think a weapon wouldn't make it, but through the incubator. But maybe it would make it through the maybe it would make it through nouns DAO.
Or it's a 2-finger ring, right? With the little noggles on it. Yeah, it's a little 2-finger ring.
Sure, and what's up, Alchemy?
The man himself.
How's it going? No, I heard my name. No, someone I don't know who it was. It was someone in the nouns community. They asked me to make a Noggle chain, so I did, and I made it and I sent it to them. And they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make a proposal, see how many we can get." And I literally just, I guess, made it for him for free. And I guess he
Yep.
just never put the proposal in. And I'm like, okay.
Hey, he just CC zeroed your ass, dude.
Damn, you
I
got
know. I was just
CC
like,
jugged. Yeah.
literally, I was like, it's okay, whatever.
Well, at least that's what I'm thinking. Like the nouns, not so much as like an arbitrage or whatever, but like if nouns could use anything, they could use some more proposals because like everyone's trying to fork them because like no one knows what to do with $30 million or whatever the fuck they
They're
have
about
in
to
there.
literally start burning money to
And
get their
that's
treasury into action.
and that's what I'm
We'll
like,
just burn it.
dude, we should just tap into their worst case. We just sell in 6 months or whatever.
We fork it.
If we
fork
don't
it for
like
the book
idea.
value.
But I personally think that in terms of like doing something cool that could inspire the other treasuries to do the same thing, what if that convinced nouns to buy a doodle and then they started to make proposals on the incubator?
Create a mega treasury.
I'm just thinking like in terms of that's kind of cool. That would be like
a permissionlessly connected mega treasury on chain.
Well, right, like
I'm serious.
other like other accelerators or incubators like with a
Sure.
C or these like startup things. I'd like to think of them kind of like as competitors.
Sure.
Right? Even just like even like states, like nation states, right? Like everybody is like trying to compete for having like the best scores in math and like the highest GDP and the
Sure.
best happiness index and all those sorts of things. But I think doing that thing would be pretty neat.
No, the treasuries of these respective communities kind of act as like a on-chain free port where the different projects could interact with each other in a way. And I'm with you. I think that's the beauty of it. Is I wasn't kidding when I said they're permissionlessly connected, treasuries, because there is nothing stopping the incubator from purchasing a noun and proposing and making proposals. There may be instances where, let's say David's proposal, right? Maybe for some reason, Doodles is like, it's not a good fit for us for some reason. Who knows what they may be? Nouns, excellent fit. They love that shit.
Okay,
send it over to the nouns.
Listen to what I'm saying, right? So in this idea, the cheapest point of entry is either the Moonbird or the Doodle, right?
Sure.
So, but if buying a Doodle was a de facto key to use Nouns DAO, that would be sick.
That's some trippy arbitrage.
Are you understanding this? Of driving value to the OG collection? You want to propose to nouns, well then you can get in line and the Doodles nouns line. Like there's no limit on how many proposals you can put out there. Obviously, like the people that would be in charge, like let's say I make this proposal, like we're not just slinging random shit with inkubator.eth, or whatever this thing is, whatever we call it. Or I don't know if it's just something that I'm not sure how it would be organized or controlled necessarily.
Sure.
But it would be like you would have like kind of like these people help you write the proposal to do it and try to make this happen. And like part of what we would have to do initially is build this relationship owning these nouns with the nouns, because I think the thing that they also are really struggling with, because they have quorums and votes,
sure,
is people voting. Right? So like they could really use some active people around in their community to do it.
Yeah. I
would
really like what you're
active in
saying.
nouns.
I really like what you're saying in the way that if you want access to the nouns ecosystem, not in besides like through like little nouns or something like that, but like real access to the nouns, you could buy a doodle. And I'm like, ooh, that's a spicy meatball. I like that.
I might have to just whip something up.
Yeah, we'll do a proposal, but it'll be really short. It'll say the incubator buys 2 nouns, and it'll be like, why? And you'd be like, come on, come on. That's it.
I don't know if they'll like it, but Alchemy, as a community member, what's your initial feelings on that? Good, bad, sad, don't care?
Sorry, my dog just ran into my room. No, I'd be down. I don't know what I would do with all that money, but it'd be great.
See,
There you go.
where's the downside?
There is none.
The
You'll
noun
have to
side.
know.
The noun side. That's what we're talking about here.
Oh my gosh. So I guess we got to talk about it really quick. So I saw some cool stuff that Alchemy posted this morning of making cast jewelry. Because before it's been just, like he's been the king of engraving, right?
Yep.
The hexes and then doing like the die cast shaped. But we had seen some kind of smelter or kiln, or what do you call that? Furnace? Is it a furnace?
It's a
Schmelter.
kiln. It's kind of like I guess it's called a furnace too, but it's like a tabletop kiln.
It's like it's just a little tabletop kiln, only gets to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's nothing serious. Alchemy, I did see that you had done some giveaways with Cole Therium, I guess former founder of Pudgies. Is that right?
I did. Yeah, I forgot when I reached out to him. But that one is sorry, I'm in my garage. My dog was squeaking. Toy. But yeah, he reached out to me. I reached out to him, and I was like, "Hey, let's do a giveaway." I was like, "You have a shit ton of followers," so I was just like, "Whatever you want to do, let's do it." So I thought he like did like some product giveaway where he like did some review of some kind of, I forgot what it was, and I was like, "You know what? That'd be cool." And then I guess he made a video for me, and I was like, "That's even better."
Nice.
And it was really cool. Yeah, it was really cool to watch him make a review because like people buy my chains and like they let me know like, oh, I got it. It's really cool. But I guess someone sitting down and like recording their reaction of like when they open it up. So like when they're seeing it, it was like really cool. I was like watching it. He posted it at like midnight, like past midnight. And I was like, I guess the engagement is there. I don't know. Not for me though, but I guess for you since you have like 120,000 followers.
Yep.
But then I was like watching it with my wife, and I was like, man, this is the coolest thing. Like watching people actually like open my packages was kind of a different experience.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, like there's people like, do you think like Apple is on YouTube and they're like, oh my gosh, look at these people open this iPhone? Like I'm sure they're like, all right, whatever, we're grossing bajillion dollars, but like that, like I bet that is so special, getting to see your product and just like the live reaction.
Yeah, my wife, she was like looking at me and she was talking so much trash. She was like, your packaging is just it's nothing. And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm trying to
The peanut gallery over here.
I'm trying to stay lean with my my business right now. And then
this guy's trying to make his margins.
I know. I was like, I need some margin. But no, I started looking. I went on Etsy, started looking at like custom boxes and stuff. And then I was also like, if I ever do a incubator proposal, I was like, I was trying to mock up you know how they have like that powered by the incubator, incubator by Doodles or something. Yeah, the logo.
Yep.
I was like, I might just order like 50 of them just to see what they look like. But we'll see.
Dude, I swear you got to make a proposal. I don't know what for, just like, but I'm sure they will give you money, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, so I'm like really close to just putting it in myself and seeing what happens. Because the thing about it is like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I need X amount of money or I'm not going to do it. I'm like, whatever the interest is, I'm down. Like if it's 10 pieces, if it's 100 pieces, I don't care.
Or like even just imagine you did something, you're like, all right, whatever. I want some new kiln thing, and you're like, and that's gonna cost, imagine, I don't know, $3,000. And then you're like, okay, but I will make 200 things for the community, right? 200 necklaces or whatever. And then as long as you just get a sign up sheet, and then basically like they're paying you for the thing, but then maybe you just have to like buy the material and then ship it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I can even do pre-orders. That's fine with me. But like, I think for all equipment, I got everything. I think my sterling silver comes in on Wednesday, and I'm ready to cast. I made my wife Tiffany ring, a wax model, the one that's on the build big board.
Yep.
Didn't turn out that great. I guess the lettering was kind of funky. So I was like, let me make a Cartier one. So
nice.
I'm gonna print it tomorrow. It's like you know how they have the Cartier love bracelets. So they have
Yes, with the little dots with the they look
exactly.
like screws.
Yeah, so they have like a ring version. And my wife is like her ring size is like a 3.5. So and they didn't have that model, so I had to like go into Blender and like the slicer and like resize it before I print it. But I was gonna print it tonight before like the football game starts, but I looked at it and it's like 5-hour print. I'm like, I'll just wait until tomorrow.
Damn. Dude, I'm even thinking about, let's say for something like Complex Con, imagine it, we don't know. I mean, we know Doodles is going to be there, quote unquote, in what context, whatever, we have no idea, right? But if there was, some sign up for that, what if it was everyone who comes to the event gets a chain, max cap 50, first come, first serve, or something like that? Imagine all the Doodles wandering around Complex Con, rocking their chain, rocking their Crocs. Like, that has value, I think.
Yeah,
John Shank, if you're listening.
I was trying to do that when
Party
when
favors.
camp came around, but I guess I was too slow when camp came around. But Complex Con would be kind of cool. I think for Complex Con, I'd be down. I think the last sneaker con that came around, I made a bunch of like artifact blades. So there was a bunch of like clones walking around with like their blades, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I guess someone took a picture next to Jeff Staple, and he had like the let me turn off my fan. He had like the really big Murakami chain, and I was like, if someone gives me the model, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they could even be like Hap chains. It wouldn't even necessarily have to be custom Doodle chains. That could be a party favor for John's party. That'd be something interesting too. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that you
So
could do.
I have a model already. It's a 3D model. Pretty much, I was trying to make a beans like the what is it called? Like last year, I tried to make a beans like the little circle, but it kind of looks like a dupe. So I might print them as dupes, and then see what they look. They're essentially like a charm. Imagine like a Pandora charm, but it'll be like a bracelet you could put on the chain. They look kind
Nice.
of cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you've been such a prolific, like, and stalwart maker and member of our community that I think it'd just be awesome to see you get a win through the incubator.
Now, did you ever get to pay your doodle off yet? Are you in the?
I was gonna be. I was about to say that. No. So my manager, he like stopped by my house the other day, and I pulled another like 2K worth of cash and just gave it to him. I'm like slowly biting it off, but it's due in like December, and I think I have maybe 5K left to pay off. So that's why I was like, you know what, either the incubator or I'm just gonna have to like eat the cost for my savings. Um, Before that time. So I was like, I'll pay you in November and then December, and then I should be done by then, and then I'll have everything paid off, and then he'll transfer it over to me. So that's why I was like, I might just put a proposal in and just see what happens.
Hey, Complex Con in November. The time is right. Ladies,
Yeah, free alchemy.
free alchemy.
Literally, I was like that OG's been in his wallet for a year, and I'm like, man, I just want it back because I was like, I was gonna trade this one, and I saw another one kind of near the floor. It was like blue background. It had like a blue beanie and like a pink bandana with a blue fleece, and I was like, so fire. So
Yeah.
I was about to just upgrade this one I had, but I don't know if it's still there anymore. I think it's like $200 over the floor, so we'll see.
We shall
So
see.
is the one that he has the one with the brown hoodie with the bandana and the blue hair, or the green
Yes, sir.
hoodie?
That's the. I think
Is it green or
it's like
brown?
it's a green hoodie, blue hair, and pink bandana.
Yep.
So
Nice.
once
Nice.
once I get the money, it'll be back in my wallet. So maybe I'll trade both of those in for a chain dude. We'll
Ooh,
see.
chain dude. Let's see
You know,
here.
I will just say, like, there's been like an uptick of scam accounts recently, like using really nice
Yeah, like
Grail
mega
doodles
grail dudes. It's
that have
so
like
weird.
20 or 30 or 40 followers. That just, if you guys get followed by somebody that's like, oh, 4 people that I know is following them, and they like somewhere just pulled out like a spotted hooded skeleton, like block them.
Dude,
There's like 6 of them, and
what
they're
is it?
even like GMing back to each other.
I saw that. What is it like? Power abhors a vacuum. Like, where are the Grail Doodles at? It's because they're not here. Nobody's rocking them, so they just feel like they can come in and do it.
Yeah, it's
Does anybody have a what's it called? The Dino one? I've never seen that one. Like
Udi.
anybody but rock a few.
Udi has one. Parallel AI Rev has one. I know. I think Pranksy has a hollow dino, and then there's another guy who has a flagged dino who I've been talking to for a long time.
Is that a green one?
I'd buy a flag dino. I don't care because that's not leaving my wallet.
That's what I'm saying. But when 60 ETH is the hard price,
Oh,
that's a hard oof right there.
yeah, that's a hard
That's like
oof.
that's like a big Tesla.
Yeah, he's waiting for the next bull run. So, and it's the one dino that looks like Reptar, so he knows what he's got.
Is it the green one?
Yeah.
The one that was, it looked like the one that was in that animation.
Yeah, it looks like Reptar. You know what I mean? It's like he knows what he's got. But yeah, and then I haven't seen Do Ethereum rock the whale in a while, so yeah, where are the grails? You know,
He sold his coffee head the other day. It was a really nice one that has like the orange puffer and the iridescent background.
dude, I think it was like Dunked Cookie picked up an ice cream the other day. I did myself dirty the other day because I love dude lifts, but you know, I spent a pretty penny on dude lifts, and I was like, what? I was like, if I would have deployed that same capital today, what would I be able to get? And like, oh no,
Dude, I'd have like 8 doodles.
yeah, right.
Yeah. I've been like, people would have been like, damn, that guy's nuts. Yeah, that 8
He's
doodles.
got 8 doodles.
I'm feeling like walking here feeling like J-Fells and fucking.
Like, no, we just got 1 for the same price.
Yeah. Bag holders.
Community members.
Yeah, when you when you get relegated to
the term
member.
coined by JKB, emotional whales. Emotional whales.
That is definitely how we feel.
Yeah. Yeah. JKB, where art thou? We need a good JKB space.
That would be nice.
I
haven't seen them around much.
Would be nice, you know? What else we got going on? I think those are the newest proposals that we've seen come through. I'm really looking forward to more details about Complex Con because it's like Complex dropped the announcement and then we haven't heard a dang thing, you know? So I want to know what the deal is.
So there are 2 proposals that are in review, which I think that means that they passed the council vote, but they're subject to the veto of the team.
Okay, so one is Nerds proposal, and then the other one, is it tiles.dg?
Tiles.gg
by Lost Potato?
That must be like the oldest proposal that's ever existed in the history of Doodles.
We should look up the first years. I'm gonna actually see if I can look it up, like what
day he posted that in the discourse forums. Holy crap.
Yeah, like when was the first instance of tiles.gg? For those of you who don't know, it's just been this proposal that has just been like perpetually in limbo. Forever. Okay.
Yeah, because the whole thing was like Lost Potato was like, I don't know how to use the Doodle Bank. I don't know like what I'm supposed to do.
Not his fault. Not his fault.
It was a little complicated.
But okay, I'm looking at it right now. Lost Potato posted the tiles.gg experience for Doodles in September of 2022. Solid.
A relic. That's like a decade in Web3
and
time.
I think there was, to be fair, I think there was some months of discussion before it even got posted. Now that I'm thinking about it, it was a long time. So it's good to see that come to life, you know. For those of you who don't know what that is, if you're familiar with the Reddit, it's like a Reddit activation. I don't know exactly what it's called. It's like called like pieces or tiles or moments or something like that. It's where everyone can go in and change 1 pixel of an image, right? Which creates this big collage. It's a similar thing. Tiles.gg is that Lost Potato built. So looking forward to seeing that.
So I think the idea is that it's like a community event that like Doodles can play and create this thing, and then they mint it as an NFT.
Yep.
So I don't know like how long you do it for, or if you do it multiple times, but it's a cool product that he built, like a game that I think has taken traction other places, and he's just been trying to get Doodles to do it for quite some time. And then Nerds is kind of like masterclass or like virtual live
Skillshare-esque.
tutorials that he's trying to do. So I think he's deeming it Nerds Creative Campus. I saw his Twitter profile, the Nerds Creative Campus Twitter profile, pop up just the other day.
Oh, speaking of creative things, did you get to stop by Art Dude's Discord?
Art Dude's Discord?
No. Art Dude the other day did a live tutorial in Discord. It was like,
I did briefly. I didn't get to talk in it, but I think it was like essentially. Do you remember when Joyce during the Tri-Wizzy tournament was doing streams in Discord where she'd be like, "Oh, hey, if anybody wants to get added, like, let me know." So I think it was kind of something that was like Art Dude was showing people how to draw the image and then also taking feedback from people to create a unique piece. And then I think he just did it in black and white, and then I think he's going to over time color it in and then publish it.
Nice. That's awesome. That's super cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed when he's out there and doing cool stuff. I cannot wait to get his like post artist in residence debrief, like, how his experience was. What I've heard from him is like he's been like, dude, it's like the best internship he's ever had.
That's awesome. That's so great to hear. That actually reminds me of, so his term is coming to an end soon, and the actual council's first term is coming to an end soon. Is that right?
Yes, I don't know when. Do you know when?
I don't know when either. Let me see. I think I can get a rough proxy. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna look at.
I want to say it was maybe in May.
I think that's right. I'm looking at the announcements in Discord, and basically like
I'm looking in the voting booth
when they announced the council, basically. Let's see here. Okay, so here it is. So it was. Wait.
The Doodle Bank amendment was in April.
So it was May 1st, I believe. Yep, May 1st is when the community council announced. So and it was a 6-month term.
The end of November.
The end of November. Okay, that's 2 months away, I feel like. Okay. That's far,
right? Wait, so
no, but that makes sense because Tree just got elected to the Doodle Watch, which was halfway through, and he's only been doing his thing for like less than a month, I think. So that actually makes sense.
Wait, no. It's the end of this month. It's the 1st of November.
Oh,
right, because it's the month of May, June, July, August, September.
Was there a lapse in the Doodle Watch terms? It wasn't like right away or something like.
Yeah, there was like 2 weeks.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, and then he had a couple weeks before he made his first post. So that probably was a month. Okay, I can get behind all this. The math is math. I think it checks out. So it's the end of October, huh?
If that math makes sense to you, yes.
If the math is mathing, okay.
Yeah. So then what's that, like 3 weeks?
Damn.
3 weeks.
That's
pretty quick.
Yeah.
But then I think, I don't know, to my rudimentary understanding, I think that they're going to do like some kind of talk with the team, see how they go, review it, and then we'll see if they're going to all do it again.
Yeah. No, I mean,
or if there's going to be like, if someone's like, oh, I don't want to do it, or oh, I have some job thing going on, or I guess like we don't really know how the team reviews it. Maybe like how they review their performance, or if they just do like vibe check, pulse. All right, do you want to do it again?
Well, I know 8270 is hosting a space, I think, on Thursday evening, fireside chat. I believe, where he said he was going
to, I'll pin that up to the top,
provide some kind of update, things like that. And I think that was as a result of just talking about like, how close his term is coming to an end, or the council in general's term is coming to an end. So it'll be interesting to kind of hear some of the reflections and things like that. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, he says the goal of this will be to give you all an opportunity to give feedback, and for me to provide insight into the behind the scenes of the incubator.
And I know Tree put out a Google form the other day asking for feedback about the community council as well. So it'd be interesting to hear once I gather all those data points, how the community felt the council did, how the team felt the council did, and how that all shakes out.
Yeah, and I just pinned that that tweet with the Google form in
Nice.
it.
Noise. Yeah.
So I think I have a call with Tree tomorrow. Just shoot the shit,
Nice.
talk doodle watch.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really tough because I think 8270 said something the other day of that he felt like a lot of things, he's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes and maybe isn't necessarily known. And so it's tough to gauge as a community member without, access, how effective you feel like the council has been. Is it just measured on, how many proposals it got through, gut feeling, whatever? And so I think he mentioned that he was going to do some kind of postmortem report. So I think that'll give good context to feel like, how do they feel like how well they succeeded? What would they like to do differently in the next term as well? So yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah, I can at least say like it was cool getting to see them create all the stuff from basically just like a flat slab of nothing on the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly I mean, what are we up to? Let me see. 67 proposals. I mean, in the history of the Doodle Bank, I feel like there was like, not including the team, I feel like there was less than like maybe 10 proposals or something, 12 proposals over its whole life cycle.
Yeah, I mean, there might have been more than that. It's like how many made it to final vote, though, is another story. So maybe.
Sure. Yes, there was definitely forums, but like how many actually went up for votes?
Yeah,
I mean, I could probably do that.
Yeah, what's the gauge and the comp there for sure?
But just in general, like these are ones that will technically like be reviewed by the governing body or whatever you call it.
Right.
And 67 is a freaking dub.
Oh yeah. No, big time.
And
it is tough. It is tough to gauge in comparison, like you said, the forum, because these ones, some forum ones just were like left to rot and die, right? As where these have to be like outright declined. And so there's a little bit of a difference there.
I mean, even just for a stat right now, I just did it. 10 proposals were like approved and funded.
Via the Doodle Bank or the Inkubator?
Inkubator.
Okay, totally.
So look at that. I mean, what's that percentage?
Oh, out of 67? 10? Yep. Well, is it over?
I'm going to just do
over 20%? Maybe? Over 20%?
15%.
Oh, my math was bullshit.
So 15% a fund rate at this point in time. I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm looking here. So it says at the Doodle Bank, there was 184 new proposal discussions. And that's not including like duplicates. You'd have to kind of sort some of those out because some were
sure.
Empty or whatever. And then 17 final proposal discussions. So,
but that also includes Doodle team proposals.
100%. And yeah, in the amendment. Yep. Totally.
So that's just what I'm thinking. It's probably not too much more than 10. Clearly less than 20. So in the life cycle of the incubator, in 5 months, it's already done more than 3x. I mean, I'd say it's almost probably more than 4x. Like 4 times 17, 68. Yeah, basically 4 times the amount of proposals. Obviously, like you said, there are like a few.
8270. 8270's been requesting. He was just vigorously.
I could barely tell him by that ape that he has.
He was vigorously waving his hand like, "Hey, let me up here. Hey." But yeah, that's so funny.
Gee, I was like, wait a second. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Welcome.
All right. That was I'm like, all right, guys, come on, let me up here quick. Yeah, I'm actually at my in-laws for Thanksgiving meal, but I saw the ink tank.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Yeah, Canadian Turkey Day,
I was about to say, I was very confused.
Yeah. So anyways, I wanted to share, and this is news. I'll be posting about this in Discord, I think tomorrow, but I wanted to share with you guys,
Ooh.
Inc. 52 finally passed the veto window and everything. And that is Lost Potatoes. Now there is a condition on that, but Inc. 52 has been passed
Nice.
and cleared the veto window. So that's awesome.
1
Yeah,
year in the
that's
making. We love
That
it.
is epic.
exactly. Now there is a condition. One thing is it's uncertain how many people are going to actually want to take part in this. So we
Sure.
lowered the cap that we're willing to spend on it, and then we'll see if Lost Potato is wanting to run with it. And those details will be made known shortly. I just want to make sure Lost Potato knows before, I put it out on the interwebs. But Inc. 52 has passed, as well as Inc. 63 has also cleared the veto window. So that was a proposal. This is the education course. I think it's by Nerd for the Procreate course. So anyways, they finally cleared veto window this morning, and
Awesome.
wanted to share that with you guys. So I'm excited to see that, because currently what we've seen from the incubator is like clearly a lot of events. We've seen a lot of events. We understand that events can be successful. People like them. And now I think Inc. 57 and Inc. 63 and Inc. 52. I think those are basically, is there another non-event one that has been passed? I forget. I'm trying to do it all off the top of my head. I'm just on mobile.
So it's 57, which would be Tony's, and then it would be these two, 63 and 52.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep,
So
that's
anyways, I'm excited to see how those go. It's like it's interesting because an event, you can fund an event, and to know if it's successful or not is like, did people show up?
Right.
Sure.
Whereas
Easy measurable.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas, and like, I mean, like the Cruise and Schmooze by Burry, it was like, yeah, people will clearly like that. It's gonna Doodles are gonna be in Chicago. Makes perfect sense. I think even like within 57, my takeaway from that was, it's like, okay, what proposal are we wanting to take a chance on? Because at the end of the day, we're going to have to take a chance on something. Like, is it guaranteed to be successful? No. But at the end of the day, I'm excited to see what can be done. So Tony, don't let us down, get cooking. I'm excited
No
to see
pressure.
what you do. I'm excited to see what you do with it. And that will maybe, like, if it goes and it's like, wow, that was really successful. I hope that will just encourage everyone else to be like, okay, maybe I'm willing to take a chance at this or take a stab at this. So anyways, I'm super pumped for Lost Potato. That's fine. Like, it's nice to see that get off the ground. And then Inc. 63, I'm excited to see what a doodle themed education course for Procreate looks like, but I'm here for it. So anyways, that's some news I wanted to share with you guys. It should hit Discord tomorrow, but yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Just as a small note here, you mentioned the veto window a couple of times. For those who are like, ooh, what happens behind the curtain of the incubator? What does that mean?
Yeah, I hope I didn't. Maybe I said something I wasn't supposed. No, it was pretty. I think it's pretty clear. So what happens is, when the proposal is submitted, then the council will like discuss it in one of our meetings, and then when we're ready to vote for it, then we hold a vote. If it passes, which there's 5 council members, so you need 3 votes to pass. But usually a lot of the votes have been unanimous. Usually it's like it's been nice because it hasn't really been contentious, which is, I think it's just a nice environment to work in. But anyway, so once if the council passes a proposal, then that gets submitted to the Doodles team, the internal team, and they have the ability to veto. That was in the initial proposal that they had presented to the Doodle Bank, I think, with this whole restructure, where they kind of have final say. So there is a veto window where, when a proposal gets submitted to them, they have X amount of days to veto it, and if they don't veto it, then it's automatically approved. there's been one case where it was put on, like there was a proposal that was put on pause. So we had voted, got submitted. It was just put on ice until they had some answers that they were curious about. So anyways, there's a lot of like procedures, I guess that's probably fair to say, that behind the scenes. And at times it can be, I don't know if frustrating is the right word, but you know what I mean? Like you'd like to things to move quicker, but obviously there's checks and balances that have to, check out. So
Sure.
yeah, it is what it is. But I hope I didn't say something I shouldn't have. Anyways, it's out there now.
I wasn't sure if there was like the council could veto it. I couldn't remember. Um and either way, I think it's cool. Like, even if people don't get to necessarily like participate in governance, I think it's cool for them to understand how it works. Just like I think about like the US government. But what's funny is when you were saying all that, how you've had unanimous votes and stuff like that. I'm imagining in some future, the council, they can like write dissenting opinions. Like they can write a letter and be like, and here's why
Justice 8270 dissents.
I don't agree with the decision.
He thought the vibes were a little murky. They were not immaculate.
The vibes were off.
Yeah, exactly. I think, yeah, I mean, I hope that never comes to that, but you never know. I think one thing that if I could touch on, if you don't mind, I think like
Go for it.
there's a lot of things that I've learned during this term on the council. There was a lot. I don't know if I expected as much administrative work as the chair. There's just a lot of like reporting that I have to do, organizing, a lot of like behind the scenes stuff. I don't know if I was quite like ready for it. So when I first ran, I was excited. I'm like, I want to hold these spaces. I want to like hang out in Discord, make sure everyone's up to date on everything that's going on. And what I was finding is like there's just so much time gets eaten up by like a lot of the logistics of the incubator to keep things flowing. And a picture of that is, so like I have 3 different meetings a week that I take part in. I have a team sync with Mushy once a week, and then I have the council meeting where we discuss proposals, vote on proposals, all that. That happens once a week, and then I also have a meeting that I hold with Tree once a week as well, just to sync up with him and kind of hear what he's been hearing from the community and whatnot, and what he thinks we could do to improve. So like that was just like, okay, that's just meetings out of the way.
Like
and then
mandatory like hours of meetings.
Yeah. And then there's, on top of that, then you have a lot of like, okay, submit this proposal to the team and break it down for the team so that it's easy for them to digest. And then like gathering documentation for disbursement of funds and all these things. There's just a lot of like behind the scenes. Now, at the end of the day, I've been absolutely honored to have this job. It has been an absolute honor. And I do feel like I've let the community down in some ways. And a big part of that is like the communicative aspect of it. And that's one thing that I've been frustrated with myself about, and trying to figure out how to better communicate in a way that's like still manageable time wise. Right. Because
you only committed what, 10 hours a week, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like going into it, I thought, okay, 10 hours a week, we discuss proposals, vote on them. I'll have time to, hang out with the community, gather feedback, all that stuff. But then it was like, oh no, there's all these processes that I didn't really take into account. So it's like, and I think it's a learning curve. So
sure,
there's ways that I've been trying to become more efficient as a chair, and I think I'm getting there. Tony probably knows early on there was a lot of like inefficiencies where it's like, my goodness, that's not smooth. But over time, I've been smoothing things out, and things are starting to roll a little bit better. But now there's always just something else that I can improve on. So anyways, that's kind of like behind the scenes in my role a little bit, if just for a little snippet.
Yeah.
But I think we're definitely all aware as a council of like this term wasn't perfect. I don't think anyone would say this term was perfect. But I do think there were a lot of positives. seeing global events happen was phenomenal and something I had wanted to see for quite some time. Because I up until Chicago, I had never been to a Doodles event because it wasn't in my country, and I'm just in Canada, but I didn't have the ability to go down to the US. So just to see more global outreach through the incubator has been fantastic. Being in like Japan, Korea, Singapore, we're going to Amsterdam. So it's really cool to see this. And that's like, so I think events have been a big W. A thing that I think, an area that I think a lot of people have questions about is rewards. And that's like, so my meeting with Mushi today, a lot of it was to discuss a reward and like, how do we get this across the line? And there's just there's a lot of nuances, I guess. And it's been interesting to navigate through. But anyways, we hear all the feedback from you guys, and we're hoping that we can just continue to improve.
Sure. No, I think that's really cool to hear you say all that. Really is. I think about, as you go into a second term, and I don't know if you're looking to be the chair again, how would you take these learnings? I think about, there's only so efficient that one person can get. Like, do you think that you would be in a position where you need to ask for more time to perform your role? Like, what do you think helps solve that pain point for you or for future chairs?
Yeah, good question. I think there are ways that we can easily, I don't know if I should have said easily, but there are ways that we can improve the communication side of the incubator. And it's like, it's tangible. Like I have it written down. It's like, this is a thing that we can do and it'll clearly improve communication. Now those are things that at the time it was something that we just couldn't do initially. And there was a lot to get set up. So now that the incubator is running and now that we got like the MVP out, which is the minimal viable product for those who are wondering. So now that the incubator is like, okay, it's running, it's not perfect, but it is running and we'll try to keep improving it. My focus is like, okay, now let's improve the communication side of it. And what tools could we utilize to get it done? So we're exploring different ways, and I think I have some pretty good ideas. I don't want to share it just due to the nature of it all.
Sure.
But for me, like my focus, if I was given the opportunity to serve a second term, it would be like improve communication so that people know, okay, this proposal got like cleared the veto window today. Awesome, let's celebrate it. This is the reward that's being cooked up. Like somehow communicate it, but then also communicate the updates of these like events that have been successful.
Sure.
Or if Tony's thing is successful, like how do we get that information out to the holders? Because right now you guys are hearing, oh, like there's an event coming up in Singapore. Awesome. But how many of us actually see the content generated through that event?
Right. Like what channel is it coming from?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of different ways. And if I could corral all of that information into one place, that's the goal. So I don't know if I'm going to have the opportunity to serve a second term, but if I did, my focus is communication for sure. Because I think now that like early on in my role, it was setting up processes like, okay, so how often is the report going to a team? What's that report look like? Objectives, like it was all setting up the structure of it all. Now that that's like kind of done and working, now I want to move on to communication.
Nice. I think that's a fair.
Sounds like a social media manager if I've ever heard of one.
Yes. No, but I think it'll be cool. I would love, when Tony pops up at a farmer's market somewhere, can we get, photos from that? People are looking forward to that. I think that's a really great idea, because I think you're going to have more and more that kind of mid to long tail follow up on all of these things that get incubated as time goes on. So I think that's a cool place to turn your attention. That sounds really great.
Yeah. And my goal is to like, I don't know if the term one, it was interesting because going into the first term, I thought, okay, what's this going to look like? There's a lot of unknowns. And are we going to be able to like deliver on people's expectations? And I think we met some people's expectations. I don't think we met other people's expectations. So what I hope that people understand is like, I want the incubator to be something that is living and improving, like not day by day, because I mean, we're doing 10 hours a week, but like just like, okay, we see a weakness here in the incubator, let's look to improve that now. So my attention lately has been rewards, RFPs, bounties, all that stuff, because I feel like that stuff it hasn't been utilized to the extent that I had hoped it would be. So I'm wanting to find ways where we can get more RFPs out to the community for people to claim, get some bounties, small bounties for people in the community to think, oh, I can't do a full proposal, or I can't fulfill a whole RFP, but I can do that bounty. And obviously rewards for the community. Now the rewards is like a tricky one, because when you add up, like if we want to reward every holder, the incubator funds would be drained quite quickly. So I think I'm exploring ways of like small rewards, but that are fun and just like small W's for the community. That's my goal with the rewards. But then, yeah, activate some bounties and some RFPs and get that aspect of the incubator rolling better.
Yeah, I do hear you. Like the incubator technically goes two ways, right? Inbound and outbound. Obviously, like when you prescribe something, like an outbound one, you're like, hey, here's what we want, or here's what you should do. I think like people would be pretty psyched about that. Because you don't necessarily have to have like a idea out of thin air, but just a creative solution to something. I think that's fun, right? It's like a little quest. Here's a little side quest. Like, go ahead and do it. The only other question I had, this was something that I haven't heard from anybody, but I thought I might have read it on one of the proposal feedbacks. Was there any considerations about like design budgets on people's proposals? Like about the incubator figuring out how to like put someone like an artist in place to do it, or do you think you guys are still going to just stick with like, if you need to have design or marketing illustration done, like that's just a part of what you should add into your proposal and finding yourself?
Yeah, I think I don't know if I'm told, like we haven't nailed anything down.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I have seen is for different proposals, especially with events. I forget what event specifically, but they had reached out and said, hey, could we get some assets for our event that we're hosting and display it on some screens? And so that's when I reached out to Art Dude and looped Art Dude in, and he was able to create assets for that event. I think that's one thing. If we could leverage, like the artist in residence is a phenomenal asset to the incubator.
Yep.
So I think anytime someone has come to me, and there was another person who asked in my DMs, I forget who specifically, but they were wondering about, okay, could you create like a logo for our sub community type of deal? And in my mind, I just instantly went to Art Dude, the artist in residence. So I think that is where, like, when someone comes to me with an ask like that, because someone asked me, could Burnt Toast do it? And I think that like Burnt Toast is a very busy guy and obviously has a lot going on his plate, but we have this artist in residence, that's been doing phenomenal work. And I hope you get to see some more of his work soon, hopefully. But yeah, so anyways, it was like, that's what I'm looking to leverage is, if you need something for your event or for your proposal, let's loop in the artist in residence and see if we can leverage that a little bit. So that's kind of, but again, I don't know if that has been decided at a council level. That's kind of what just is going on in my head.
Well, and I would say too, there could be some kind of tiered approach to that. Like Tony was saying, once you get a proposal passed, maybe you could work with Artude a little bit if you needed to. Maybe if you moved to incubation, maybe you could get in contact with the Golden Wolf. But there could be. I'm not saying that's exactly how it would be, but there could be something to that. That you would unlock creator assets and ability to create higher quality, content materials for your business or project as you progress through the pipeline.
Yeah. And one thing that I would say is, I hope I can say this, Ingy's going to slap my hand if I can't, but one thing is that Art Dude has been working very closely with Golden Wolf. And I think that has been very cool to see. Art Dude is not on an island by himself, and like, you know, good luck artist in residence. He has truly been looped in with the team at Golden Wolf, so it's just been really cool to see. So anyways, even if like Art Dude has his hands on something, I can almost guarantee, I can't say for certain, but I would almost guarantee you that Ingy and the team at Golden Wolf has seen it.
Nice. Well, and yeah, Art Dude is no animation slouch, for what it's worth anyways, even pre-artist in residence, you know. And so I can only imagine his skill set has gotten sharper. And I know he's busy because he was never, you know, very loud on the timeline to begin with, but he has been a silent ninja since he got the artist in residence.
Ninja. And
so,
he's also moving houses
yeah,
too.
yeah. But I know he's busy too. Like he's that kind of guy that would
Yeah.
just get, you know, that would just get dive into the work. You know what I mean? And just come out on the other side and be, "What's up, guys? How you doing?" So awesome to see.
Well,
Free Art Dude.
I'm at my in-laws for Thanksgiving, so I gotta actually head out. But I appreciate you guys having me up here, and I hear all the feedback. And if you guys have some more feedback, just send it my way. Hopefully we just can keep improving. That's kind of my takeaway. I just want to keep improving on what's been built and build on top of it, and then hopefully, you know, 2 years from now, we can look back and think, man, the incubator is actually like this phenomenal aspect of the Doodles. So that's my goal, but bit by bit.
No, it's an awesome
Totally.
goal. Yeah, thank you.
Inkubator Fireside Chat Thursday night. Be there, be square. It's pinned to the top. One tweet over from Tree's Google form for community feedback. So that is going to be hosted by 8270. So we're looking forward to that.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks,
All right.
YouTube.
Peace
Appreciate
out.
you.
Thanks for hosting Ink Tank too, guys.
Of course.
Love.
Peace. Roops,
Roops.
you've been so
Yo.
patiently waiting there.
What? Oh no, I'm just here to put some little news inside 8270 as he talks, and I just
He's sweating
yeah
like, he's like,
You just like seeing him sweat just a little bit.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
gosh.
That's awesome. How are you doing today, Roops?
Yeah, all right. I mean, I just finished up in the kitchen there. That was something. Anyway, yeah.
Don't tell me
It
it's
was
Thanksgiving where you're at. I can't handle that.
it's
Oh,
training Thanksgiving. That would be funny.
Oh no! I was just playing around with some like recipes and stuff.
What are you
Try-
cooking?
He cooks?
Oh, like something simple. How people make chopped cheese, like in New York and stuff.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So I kind of like try to make a Trini version to that, but kind of like a little more fancy because I didn't really like how the cheese to just stay there and just thing, So I kind of like try to make like a little bechamel, like on the side to just throw it on and hit it. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow. And he's making bechamel, no lasagna. Hold on.
Yeah.
That sounds damn good, dude.
Good sir. Good sir. All right, we see you.
Yeah, just experimenting by myself. Anyway, that's just
That sounds bomb.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh man. What a
And
day.
how I have missed Roops's fan. I'm the biggest fan of Roops's fan.
We are the biggest fan of Roops's fan.
Dude, I feel like Roops's fan should have like
It's on account.
a Twitter account. Yeah.
Like,
You know, like how what was that name? Shirley Lowe, how she was always lurking in all of our spaces.
Yes, the bot.
Like Roops's fan should just like be like always.
But it
there.
tweets twice a day. And it just goes whoosh, and then the other way. It just says the other way. Just
Like,
morning and night.
It's just ASMR. Yeah,
It's
it's
just
just like
GM. That's it. GN.
Oh gosh, it's iconic. It's just iconic. It's just like I guess like how like you like just the way that it hits. It's like you're always in the same spot. Just like how I'm like sitting in this chair. It's just it never gets moved.
Yeah. Inflation be damned. Roops's fan stays consistent.
yeah.
Stable coin. Hashtag fan. or
$sign
fan.
Roops fan. Yeah.
Oh
my
boy.
gosh.
So what connection does my fan have with Mike now? Is it like a distant uncle, a nephew, a third cousin from the fourth side or something?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
wait. You're telling me that we need to make a character for Roops' fan.
Oh, we love it. We love it. Yeah, it's like, it's kind of like Toy Story. It's a sub story within the Doodles universe, right? It's like, oh, we're all Doodles wandering around. Little did we know that all our small appliances came alive when we're not around. Just saying. Toy Story.
That's what we talk about.
If Doodles is Pixar, then Mike and Roops' fan are our hero character. Okay, I'll stop myself before I get too carried away. But
Or maybe Mike is like the descendant of Rips's fan, and Rips's fan came back from the dead to be the villain in the story, and Mike, trying to ease things up. Anyway.
Okay. No, I
Wow.
can get behind this. It's good. It's good. There he is.
I see the Nemesis arc. There he is. Okay. I think in the interest of time, we should probably rug this thing so people don't see it like 2 hours. And
I blame Roops' fan, but yes.
That's like going to be like the scapegoat. Like, oh, we showed up 10 minutes late. That was Roops' fan.
Yeah, Roops' fan. Mike is on time. Mike is early. Mike does everything right. He can do no
I forgot
wrong.
to charge my phone. Damn it. I was distracted.
Oh, yeah. That's like Roops' fan needs to be the Tubins of the Doodles universe.
Yes.
Yes. I love that. All things bad. It's on the shoulder. Half the shoulder is Mike.
So
the other shoulder is Roops' fan.
We're gonna need at least like some kind of like non-doxing photograph of this fan so we can make a cartoon version of it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's like an oscillating stick.
Is it a box fan? Yeah, it clearly oscillates, I guess. I mean, yeah. We can only assume.
I mean, is a normal fan, I guess. I mean, yeah.
So is it like a circular one, and is it
Yeah.
standing on a desk or on the ground?
A circular one on the desk, a typical Lasco fan, as well as Lasco.
A Lasco fan? Okay.
Lasco fan,
Yeah.
Googling it.
Yeah.
But yes. Let's go ahead and wind things down for the night. This has been an awesome episode of Ink Tank. We've talked about a lot of ish tonight. It's been a lot of fun. Had some good guests come up too, talk about some great stuff. Alchemy, 8270, Roops' fan. So it's been awesome.
I don't know how you guys keep yourselves in check. Let me see. Got to find some music.
Mic check is how. All right, everybody. As Tony finds some music, just a reminder, 8270 is going to host a Inkubator fireside chat Thursday night. So if you're interested in what's going on with Inkubator from the council chair, make sure to tune into that. I think, Tony and I think we'll probably be on Spaces with NRN on Wednesday morning for the Roundtablers show, where we have a roundtable about all the things we think are sick in Web3. And who knows, be on lookout for some other stuff as well.
Some other stuff.